never do this but go after Sunny. I'd probably better go after her. Who knows what she's up to? I don't think this kind of behaviour is typical of her though. Maybe she's sleepwalking, or mentally ill. I've heard of bipolar disorder, or maybe she's got something more sinister. Don't know. I'll ask her about it once I'm caught up to her. I got to my feet and crossed into the hallway. Okay. Whoa. There's a blood scene here. Do you look at the floor? Do you look at the left side of the wall? And do you look at the blood handprints? What the hell is going on here? Cold beads of sweat streaked down my neck. The hospital had undergone a drastic change in appearance. There was blood splat on the walls, and it smelled putrid. Everyone else was gone, and I was left all alone yet again. No sound around. Only the sound of my heart beating harder by the second. Is this some kind of joke? Why didn't I think that right off the bat? My friends must have decided to pull a prank on me as a welcome back to the world of the living gift. Everything clicks out then. I really hope I'm right. Violent ruckus derailed my train of thought. I jumped. Startled. It sounded like it was coming from the next room. Blank! This is not funny anymore! The noise being made by someone, or something, was growing louder and louder. Okay, I'll go in if you must insist. Wouldn't be surprised if Nebereal dressed as a clown murderer or something jumped at me. But I'm ready for that, so no big deal! Can't wait to see the look on her face when I calmly tell her the joke bombed. I walked up to the door and opened it. I wish I hadn't. Well then. A young man about my age was in the room. He was clad in the same kind of gown the rest of the patients wore, but it was torn in several places and looked very old, as if it had been made 20 years ago. His hands were covered in burn marks and dry blood. He was slamming his head against the wall. So that was what was making the noise. I peered at the man. Hey, who might you be? The young man turned to face me. I realised he was missing both of his eyes, and the empty eye sockets were oozing thin streams of muddy blood. Who's there? Why'd you come back? Leave me alone! The man started to frantically flail his arms as if fending someone off. Listen, you clearly need help. I don't need anything anymore. Nothing! I backed away from the entrance. To hell with this psycho, I should avoid him. Let him stay there until the doctors come, or anyone else. This is serious now. I've got to find Sunny and get the hell out of here. We've got an intruder. Seize him! What? I'm the intruder? Just a few minutes ago I was only a patient here. Are there more nut jobs now? Looks like zombies. People emerged from the darkness the next moment. The ones who were shouting. Actually, I take that back, they weren't human at all. Those fiends wobbled akin to small children learning to walk, but looked like tall dwarfs, with disproportional bodies and horribly mimicked faces. I was mortified. I realised that if I don't haul ass, I'll end up just like that guy back there. I just had a hunch. I dashed toward the direction I thought Sunny went to as fast as I could. Is she alright? I wonder if those ghouls things got to her. What could I possibly do about it then? Thoughts of that nature kept creeping up as I rushed down the stairs, passing landing after landing. I could hear the wails of those savages behind my back. I could sense how close they are with every cell in my body. We were separated only by one or two flights of stairs. I could tell by the clear shuffling noise they made. I ran. I've been running for so long my feet are going numb. How many landings have I passed by now? I lost count a while ago. How tall is this hospital? I don't know why there's no end to the staircase. I was only on the 3rd floor. Why? Incomprehensible. I don't know my pursuers anymore. I don't hear my pursuers anymore. However, I turned out to be faster and was incredibly happy about that. Who wouldn't it be? Yes. Who wouldn't want to be faster than the zombies? After some time there was no more flights of stairs and I was on minus 1st floor at long last. Now I just need to find Sunny. For some reason I'm sure she is nearby. Good thing I could catch my breath and think rationally now. If Sunny happened to bump into those so-called guards, she wouldn't have much of a choice other than to run for it and then hide. And where could the ideal hiding spot be? I racked my brains to figure it out, and this one place seemed the most likely. That's it. But the basement had to be a great place to give someone the slip. I should check there. Where's the entrance though? I scanned the area. I must say it's cleaner here than on the upper floors, in spite of all the junk stored here. But it still looks abandoned like the rest of the hospital. A miniature table that sat in the corner suddenly catch my eye. It looked brand new, unlike the rest of the stuff here. A small box lay on top of it. Actually, it was more of a tiny chest. I approached the table and unlocked the chest with a key that lay beside it. Inside was an old photo. What was left of it? The other half was simply missing. Yeah, it looks like Pluto. It looked pretty old. Who is the man on the photo? Does he have anything to do with what's going on right now? Or maybe an older version of Pluto? Maybe Pluto's dad? Meh, a cat? I instinctively turned towards the sound. Looks like another surprise in store for me, but I didn't see any cats. The meowing was coming near an old faded painting hung on the wall. It's strange that I only just noticed now. It depicts a woman in a dazzling white dress and a straw hat holding a banquet of roses. A small dog lay at her feet. I don't remember what kind of breed it was. What one is it? I'm not too sure. I moved closer and carefully brushed it with my hand in appreciation. It seemed out of place, as if it was trying to cover something. Without warning, the painting began to vibrate and then it was gone. It just vanished. I didn't have time to process what was happening. It must be a hologram, but that's not surprising either. I can hardly be called easily surprised anymore, exactly, with the zombies and all that. The blood was realistic, but zombies are not. A passage leading who knows where opened before me. I guess it's this way. I had no other options but to push forward after all. Is this your secret dungeon of horrific stuff, Sonny? I was trudging along a narrow, dark corridor. A few meters in, I was fortunate enough to step on a dead rat and bump my head on something. I think my forehead is bleeding. I touched the assumed wound. Just imagined it, but it still hurts. Sonny, this is not funny anymore. After a couple dozen more meters, I picked up the smell of rotten meat. Okay. The stench was even more vile down here than above. I had to pinch my nose to prevent myself from getting sick. I strenuously kept on walking, breathing with difficulty towards the unknown. Begrudgingly to tell the truth, but I was worried about Sonny, and that motivated me, deeper and deeper. I don't think you should be worried about Sonny, especially with how she interacted with you. A few more tens of meters pass. How much further? Am I lost, or is this corridor endless? Weird things tend to happen to me, so I'm not ruling that one out. Nah, that's crazy talk. It's bound to lead somewhere, for goodness sakes. Finally, I was starting to think I lost my marbles. At the end of the corridor, I saw a large rusted door that was slightly ajar. Someone was making chewing noises behind it. I went in as silently as I could. Sunny's there, isn't she? I thought nothing could faze me anymore. I was mistaken. Gravely mistaken. Thought so. Sunny was there, sitting on the floor in the middle of the room. She was holding a disemboweled cat. Blood ran around her mouth. The girl was digging her teeth into the dead animal, tearing off more and more chunks of meat and letting out an occasional moan of pleasure. She seemed to have been savouring every moment of her feast. She was so absorbed in partaking of the poor cat that she didn't even register my presence immediately. This is a nightmare. But 3 seconds later, it suddenly finally acknowledged me. Took you long enough. Want one? I killed an extra one just for you. She was staring at me with wild eyes, the way a predator visibly locks onto its prey. What's going on here? Dinner time, darling. After all, they don't have plans to feed us anytime soon. Who are they? The masters. What masters? I didn't mean to do that. You'll find out soon enough, silly. Yeah, that is a gruesome look. Sonny took the second dead cat by the tail and offered it to me. What's the matter? Not a cat person? I am, but I prefer a cat to be alive, thank you very much. Her laugh was absolutely insane. Next, it gave way to a hysterical shriek, as if she was being cut and torn into pieces. My vision began to gradually darken. My legs gave out and I passed out on the floor, hitting my head hard. And I think that was Man, that dream was nuts. The things your exhausted brain shows you, and then you keep inadvertently playing them back in your head the next day. So that was a nightmare. And you even had to pay for those movies with the time you could have spent dreaming of something nice. Involuntary to boot. Right now, however, I do have a choice. I'm so out of this freaking hospital. Okay, so this is reoccurring dialogue. Let's see if there's anything to add after the hospital incident in Satou's nightmare. Help Sunny and Pluto. I'll go see what Sunny and Pluto are up to. Maybe they could use my help. Wow, they're busy filling out some forms. Oh gosh, that is a big old list of papers. The table we were sitting at was covered all over with those forms along with different folders, apparently containing important documents. Ah, we still have to deal with paperwork even in space. Come on sis, it's not that bad. But it's so dull. Whoever says that paperwork is so exciting, for goodness sakes. I approached the table. I see you have your work cut out for you. Sunny and Pluto looked up at me. Hello. Oh hey Satou, did you come to help? That was the plan. I see, thank you so much. Sunny beamed. Never would have pegged you for a pencil pusher, Satou. I'm not. It just seems like the easiest job. It might be quite an easy thing to do depending on the context, but it is just so monotonous. I see. Well, in that case, welcome aboard. Pluto gestured towards a chair next to Sunny. Okay. As soon as I sat myself down, Sunny instantly passed a bunch of those forms to me. Take a pen and just copy all the info from the first form onto the rest. Is that really necessary? Can we just use a copy machine? The university's administration insists upon manually filling out everything, you know, as a measure against fraud and stuff. I can't imagine anyone forging documents about a prom night. You never know. Better do everything by the book. Indeed. We don't want any trouble, do we? Okay, got it. If it's really that important like you say, then okay. We shortly began our work. Another set of hands is always welcoming. Man, this is tedious. Yes, paperwork is tedious. Same numbers, words, over and over. I'm beginning to regret choosing to help out with this. Sunny and Pluto seemed better fitted for this job. Well, no turning back now. I'll just pretend I'm a machine. Like an assembler robot. Gotta be easier that way. Just switch off my brain for a while and do the job mechanically. Like clockwork. How do we get here, though? Why are there so many flowers here? Who'd be interested in staring at plants in the first place? A lot of people. Plants are a very fascinating thing, thank you very much. I was looking thought you can understand why they would be. Considering we're far away from our home planet, there's only a handful of visually pleasing things around. Nothing homely, I guess. Anything homely here has the form of people close to you. In my case, the friends who I met yesterday. Even though I don't like flowers, one still caught my eye. I think they're called asakas. I don't know flowers. I don't know why, but it makes me feel peaceful. Also, its scent was indescribable. Never knew a plant could produce such a pleasant fragrance. It put the rest of the plants in this garden to shame. From the fragrance, that is. The aroma was suddenly gone. Ah, is it a continuation from the hospital, for goodness sakes? How is it possible? It was so radiant just a moment ago. Now the flowers are withering, no longer radiating life energy. I felt as if all my emotions disappeared with their fragrance. Someone entered the greenhouse. I couldn't see their face due to a filmy darkness obscuring my vision. I felt a stinging pain in my back, like it was pierced with something sharp. There is no blood on the faded flowers now, but there isn't any of me. I felt futilely and unbridled fear. I just need to close my eyes, was what I thought. So I did. It felt like an eternity standing there, terrified out of my wits in total darkness. And now we're back here somehow. Yo, rise and shine, sleeping beauty! Huh? What's up? I gave a start. Not much, you just conked out at work. Why didn't you wake me up sooner? You were sleeping like a baby. We didn't have the heart to wake up. So wake you up. Pluto chuckled. You should have. I wouldn't be mad. Actually, we just noticed how all this routine doesn't mesh with you. So we decided to cut you some slack. We're not monsters after all. You're obviously not. The only one to blame here is our dean. Why, thank you. Who knows? Maybe I wouldn't have survived such perilous tasks after all. You would have turned with us around. You would have turned... Okay, wait. You would have with us around. Okay. I don't know why I thought turn was in there. If push come to shove, I could have just carried you back to your room. You mean dragged me back by the collar? Exactly. No worries then. We laughed together. Guys, I just had an idea. Sunny was interrupted by May, who came up to our table. Hey kids, do you mind if I step out for a moment? Personal? Something like that. I just need to go get some gloves from the sports equipment storage. It's harder to work without them than I thought. Do you keep them in your room? I do, but it's a pain to go all the way back. I'll just borrow some sports gloves for now. Wow, you could work in those. Naturally. I'm a prodigy after all. Heh, heh, heh. Mercury did some spinning tricks with a wrench. Unfortunately, she dropped it in the end. It was right underneath. It went right under the table. We'll just pretend we didn't see that. Sunny ducked under the table to pick up the tool. Please, be more careful with this. Yeah, don't misuse it. And please try not to drop anything during work. Alright. Mercury pocketed her wrench and left the auditorium. She's like a grown kid. Says you, Satou. At least I try to act my age. Sometimes. Occasionally. Okay, I don't. Feel free to be yourself around us. Don't worry about it. We're friends. I'm not worried. We noticed. Yeah. I got it. Sunny snapped her fingers. Oh yeah, I didn't get to finish what I was saying. I was going to suggest we all have a bite to eat at the cafeteria after this. We could continue discussing the upcoming prom there. Or we could just take a break and go now, and then continue to work with renewed efforts. I think the second option is going to be more of a thing, not by choice but by upcoming events. That works too. What do you think, Satou? No opinion. Why not, I guess? Great, we'll ask the others when Mercury comes back. I think they'll like the idea. Mercury's taking too long. Where did she go? Did she get lost? Okay, this is repeated dialogue again. Nothing else came about from that, so... The only other things that we could do is just explore other choices, but weren't there different choices? Yeah, there's the Doge right there. Selecting one or the other doesn't have really a story impactful choice in the future, but it does give you some rest in mind knowing that the beloved Pooch is no longer suffering. Let's help Nebereal now. Let's see what she's up to. I must be mad, but I decided to go help Nebereal. This ought to be good. Hello? She was watering flowers in the corner of the auditorium. I never noticed them until now. Actually, it's very off-putting seeing Nebereal do something like that. It seems you have a delicate side after all, Nebereal. Nebereal put the watering can on the windowsill and turned in my direction. Look who the cat dragged in. Can't be you're here to help me. If I tell you I am, would you object? I won't unless you've got two left hands, and I'm fairly certain you do. The girl snided chuckled. Nothing's wrong with my hands, rest assured. Besides, even if someone like you is good at taking care of plants, it's a given that I can't be any worse. Cocky much. But I won't do you any favours, you know. We'll see about that, Miss Know-It-All. Just tell me what to do. Since you're itching to take the plunge so much, kamikaze, I will. Nebereal whipped out a pair of scissors out of her coat pockets and handed them to me. Take this. Prune the leaves a little bit. Don't prune your fingers by accident. Maybe best if I just water the plants. No, you do the pruning. I want to laugh at you when you screw up. What a she-devil. Never miss a chance to mock someone. Especially if that someone is me. Fine, I accept the challenge. I'll make you eat your words, smartass. You'll be sorry for doubting me. I won't be sorry if it's about you. So don't even get your hopes up. Anyway, let's talk more work. Nebereal picked up a watering can. You got it. We began our work. 1 leaf, 2 leaves, 3 leaves. This is dull. Does Nebereal generally enjoy doing this kind of work? I would say it's more therapeutic over something that you would get action from. I cast a glimpse at her. There is a smile on her face. Ah, that's actually a pretty pleasant full thing to look at, really, this whole scenery. The auditorium and the plants. There is a smile on her face. Not the usual malicious one, mind, but a kind one. What a peculiar sight, for me at least. I even don't want to hurl something at her anymore. Instead, I just want to help her. Well, I am helping already. Nebereal caught me looking at her. Admire the work for a professional? Or do I look hot holding a watering can? That question made me a little flustered. I was just making sure you didn't mess something up. As you can see, I haven't. Why sad? You okay? Can't say the same about you, though. The girl fingered the roses I've been pruning. You overdid it. Besides, Nebereal put the watering can down. You've been working on the wrong plants! What? Why did you say so earlier? Did you forget how to use your eyes as well? It's perfectly obvious what needs to be pruned here and what doesn't. Well, excuse me, I'm not a gardener. Why don't you prune these damn plants yourself if you are such an expert? Heh, flipping out already? I expect you to last longer than that. Nebereal stuck her tongue at me. You piss me off. Why are you so mad? You know what? This will help you cool off. The watering can. I thought so. Nebereal splashed some water at me. That's better. This blank went too far. Damn it, I'm not having it. I tried to wrench the watering can off Nebereal's hands. Hey, chill, dude. I'll be chill only when you stop acting like a total blank. Each of us tugged at watering can, putting it towards one another to try to disarm their opponent. Not a great idea in retrospect. And the watering can slipped from my grasp and part of its contents doused Nebereal. Damn, watch it! That was unintentional. But you get what you deserve for your attitude. Sheesh. Good thing it's just water and not some liquid fertilized stuff. That stuff is really toxic. The girl picked herself up from the floor. Oh, didn't know that. Listen, my bad. Maybe that was too much. That wasn't too much, but that was plain childish. Yes, maybe you're right. Wow, so docile all of a sudden. Feeling bad? I suppose I am. Heh, that means I win. Win at what? Wet shirt contest? Never mind. Okay then, keep your secrets. Okay then. Nebereal picked up watering can lying on the floor and held it out to me. This time you're in charge of this deadly item. The girl smiled. Heh, as you wish. I took it in my hands. But let's get on with it, kamikaze. Sure. We're back to work. This girl is so mysterious. Several minutes later, Mercury ran up to us. Guys, I'll be right back. I already told the others. What, nature's calling? No need to let us know. Mercury gave Nebereal a reproving look. What? Nothing shameful about that. So what? It's still embarrassing, especially in the company of boys. She pointed at me. Anyway, it's not that. I just need to go find some gloves. It's hard to work without them than I thought. Are you supposed to have them on you, as a mechanic? You always carry them around, no? I forgot them in my room. Then go back for them. What's the problem? It's too far to the dorm. You guys will be over and done with here while I'm running around. That's why I'll just borrow some fencing gloves from the sports equipment storage. Are you sure you can work in those? Those aren't meant for elbow grease, in case you didn't know. I'm sure. I can work in any gloves, even hockey gloves. I've been tinkering with all kinds of stuff ever since I was a kid, tried lots of things out. Alright then, Mercury. You go, girl. Nebereal gave Mercury a thumbs up in respect. Thanks, hehehe. Mercury winked at us and left the auditorium. And now it's taking too long for her to come back. Watering flowers turned out to be a more appealing activity. You just let the water do all the work, while thinking about something good. Very relaxing. Nebereal looks pretty happy too, seemingly having forgotten about all about a little incident. I'll say it again, it's a bizarre sight. Can't get used to it. Well, we won't have to keep doing this forever, so I don't need to. But Mercury is taking far too long. 50 more minutes of watering plants. I've already refilled the can several times. Nebereal, on the other hand, has managed to snip her fingers a bit with her scissors. Truth be told, that was pretty funny. Not much else going on, but I kept thinking about the fact that Mercury is taking too long to come back. Where did she go? Did she get lost? Doesn't strike me as a person who could get easily lost. Don't like it. Last but not least, let's help Mercury. I think I'll go help Mercury out. I think she's supposed to be examining some stage equipment at the moment. Hello. The gear was kept backstage. All kinds of junk was also there, apparently used as props for stupid plays. I decided to go straight to Mercury without further dawdling. She was busy fixing some strange thing that looks like a projector. That's probably what it was. Indeed. It's odd to come across archaic things like that, even more so up here in the space. Maybe our dean is sentimental towards all things retro. Hey, you're here to help? Mercury beamed at me and stepped away from the projector. Yes. Yeah, but I don't know anything about hardware, so maybe I'm not much of a help. That's okay. You can just pass me tools when I need them. Cool? Cool. Great. Mercury went back to her business. I just stood by awaiting orders from her. Listen, were you really were you really only joking? You know, back there with Marcy? No, I just didn't want to upset her. You understand? Mercury dropped her wrench. Oops, gotta be more careful. She picked up and resumed her work. Now what about the others? Sunny, Pluto, Nebereal. You don't remember any of them either? I pretty much just met them yesterday from my perspective. That's not good at all. I guess I shouldn't even bother asking about me then. Mercury dropped her wrench again. Why am I being such a coax? This time I picked up the tool myself and handed it back to her. Thanks. The girl gave me a big smile. No problem. I should at least appear like I'm doing some work. You're pretty good at that. Mercury jokingly patted my cheek. Oh man, I forgot my hands were dirty. I'm so sorry. She tried to wipe the smudge off and ended up smearing it across my face. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. It's no big deal. There's got to be something I can use to wipe my face here. So... Without letting me finish, Mercury dashed toward a garment bag that had costumes in it. The girl produced a small red cloth and returned it to me. Ah, hold still, I'll get it. I'll get it for you. Are you sure about that? Is it okay to use this? What if this is for some play? We'll keep quiet about this then. A smile adorned her face again, like a mischievous child. Mercury looked chipper, even carefree. She moved her hand across my cheek a few times and then disposed of the piece of cloth by simply tossing it away offhandedly. That's better. Much obliged. Mediocrely. Anytime, monsieur. Hehehe. I don't know French. We continued fixing the projector. Well, Mercury did. I only appeared busy, but she didn't seem to mind. At least I'm not in the way. So that's good. Whew, I think that's done. The girl dusted off her hands and put her tools back in the toolbox. You seem to be pretty well versed. Props to you, as they say. Hehehe, thank you. We still need to test run this thing in case I mess something up. Mercury gave her projector a look over again, pressed start and stepped back from it. After a few seconds, an image popped up on stage. It was an old movie about a university. From what I could gather, the film showed the opening ceremony of the main building. It looked quite grand. There's even some guy in a suit cutting the ribbon. That's probably the dean. Mercury turned off the projector. Man, this stuff is old. Boring. Are you more into documentaries? Yes, especially those about space engineering. How did you know? Mercury seemed genuinely surprised. Never mind. Call it a hunch. You're pretty intrusive. Oh yeah? Yep. Aw, there's so much left to do here. I thought you enjoyed this kind of work, no? I do, unless it's a pile of ancient junk. By the way, I could use some gloves. Why don't you bring them with you? I forgot. Can you go back for them? I can, but I left them in my dorm. It'd be a hustle to go back that far. Actually, Mercury paused to think, then slapped her fist against the palm. A light bulb appeared, apparently flickered on in her head. That's why I could use fencing gloves. It's not a long walk to the sports equipment storage from here. Fencing gloves? Could you work in those? Sure I can. I can work in any gloves, even hockey gloves. I've been tinkering with all kinds of stuff ever since I was a kid, tried out lots of things. Awesome. Go get them then. Please keep an eye on the projector so that nobody messes with it. Or we'll have our heads. I'll do my best. Anything for Mercury. Mercury huddled down the steps leading down the stage and ran out of the auditorium. I stayed on guard by the projector. And as ever, we know what's going to happen. Maybe I don't have to keep watching over this stupid projector so diligently. Nobody cares about it. And even if they did, they wouldn't be able to access this area without us knowing. Dang, am I so worried about this thing? Or rather, I'm worried about the work Mercury has done on it. Yes, definitely that. The work, sorry. It would be a shame if all of her effort went to waste, but it won't. I promised her. This is taking a long time. What would happen if we put the note away for now? So I chose not to read the letter and stayed in the room, but we've got a different scenario going on here entirely. Worst things happen, don't remember, but probably. Close my eyes, started to count sheep. They say this method is foolproof. I'll give it a shot. Ah, just kill me already. The sound of racket made me open my eyes. What was that? Who was shouting? Wait a minute. Why can't I see anything? Why the hell is it so dark now? Mere seconds ago this room was bathed in moonlight. Now it's gone without trace. Stygian darkness enveloped the room. I got up from my bed and groped my way toward the exit. I had to go check what's going on in the hallway. I can't just lie around if there's been an accident, or something worse. I did hear someone scream just now after all. I left my room. But it goes in a different scenario entirely. Darkness. No sounds around. Deathly silence. Where is everybody? No way I'm the only one who heard that scream. And noticed that the lights have gone out. I've been standing rooted to the spot for a few minutes now. No, I wasn't afraid. I only felt bewilderment at the current situation. Maybe I'm doing it instinctively, hoping someone would eventually come. I wish I knew myself. Standing still won't get me anywhere. I need to go deeper into the bowels of the hospital to try and find some answers. After making only a couple of steps forward, I suddenly was blinded by a light that came out of nowhere. My eyes started to water profusely. What is that there? It looks like we're in a hangar of some sorts. After wiping the tears, a genuinely appalling sight came to my view. I was inside some kind of weird hangar in the middle of which stood a small spaceship. The vehicle was in horrible condition, obviously beyond repair. The hangar itself was no better. It looked abandoned. Some parts, broken devices and other scrap were strewn around about as if due to a hurricane. An intense shiver went up my spine. I'm utterly clueless as to what's going on. Am I hallucinating? I feel all there even now though. For now anyhow. Hey you, are you one of the students from the internship program? A stranger came from behind the wreckage. The man looked 50, maybe a bit older. He gave me a scrutinizing look, the kind adults give to kids who's been caught misbehaving. I was innocent, however, so there must have been a different reason for it to be this stern. Who, me? Who else is here? There. The man points at the spaceship wreckage. Examine this beauty here for now. Come see me in my office when you're done. We'll talk. Excuse me? What's going on here anyway? The man furrowed his brows and headed toward the door located in the furthermost corner of the hangar, leaving my question unanswered. What was that about? What did he mean by examine? There's nothing left to examine. And by the way, what gives him the right to boss me around? No, this is borderline insane. Actually, it's already bat blank crazy. Wait, what have I just... I looked around in search of a way out. For a way out. A way out, of course. As if I could just leave... If I could just up and leave. I don't see any hint of an exit, as if by design this is wrong. Fear came over me. Okay, I need to calm down. But in this situation it's hard to even think, let alone remain composed. But I don't have a choice. I need to do something. Anything for us! I knocked on the door to the man's so-called office. Never imagined that the hangar could have an annex in the form of a tiny room. Was it built to give the employees some personal space? At least that means the bosses here aren't inhumane. I thought the hangar was large enough so that everyone could have their own personal space in a way. Word inhumane, rather. This place can't possibly still be operational. I rapped on the door again. Did he die in there? I gave it another knock. Come in. Hold your damn horses. Guess he's fine. The door opened with a faint squeak. The man stood before me. You said you wanted to talk. Did you examine the ship? I decided to lie. I did. And, well, it's busted. You don't say. I was starting to think it was assembled like that. The man slapped his palm on his face. Fine, just come in. I stepped inside. Surprisingly, the room was pretty clean and tidied up, unlike the hangar. The man closed the door behind me and gestured toward a little couch. It was old, but not shabby. Take a seat. I positioned myself on the couch. My new acquaintance sat at the table across from me, took out a pack of cigarettes from his packet and lighted one. Sir? Call me Alfred. Lad. Okay. Where'd you come from? What station? I actually came from a hospital, you know. It may sound weird, but I have no idea how I ended up here. What does that mean? You got that thing, whatchamacallit. Anyway, did you hit your head or something? You could say that. Alfred peered at me with narrowed eyes. You are wearing a hospital gown, alright. Couldn't tell right away. Poor eyesight. And who had the brilliant idea to send you here fresh out of hospital? The thing is, I came of my own accord. What's that supposed to mean? I realise that if I continue telling my story, this man will think I escaped from a psych ward. I had to do what I do best again. Lie. I want to come myself. You're an odd one, alright. Why didn't you change? I just thought I'd come right after getting out of my hospital bed. Why waste time, you know? After hearing me say that, Alfred put out his cigarette and broke out laughing. Been a while since I came across weirdos like you. Last time was about 10 years ago. Back then a bloke strolled in here completely naked, said it was too hot outside to work in working clothes. Did he do a good job? Alfred took out a second cigarette from the pack and smoked away again. He wasn't great, but we did manage to fix the engines. The man had a coughing fit and flickered some ash from his cigarette down into a little jar on the table. This damn habit. Been haunting me my whole life. Bad habits aside. Why'd you ask me to come? Surely not to swipe life stories. Right, actually, lad. I only wanted to warn you about something. About what? Alfred got up from his chair, dropped his cigarette on the floor and crushed it with his foot, then went to the door. Everybody has skeletons in their closets, kid. Never forget that. The man left the room, leaving me by myself. That's all he wanted to tell me? I was expecting long discussions about hadron hadron colliders and other space gizmos. And then he just took off. At the same time, this is the wrong thing to question at the moment. I need to get out of here. Stat. Alfred must know where the exit is. Why didn't I ask him sooner? Whatever, I could ask him now. I got up from the couch and made to follow him. People. So many of them. I couldn't believe my eyes. Just a moment ago, this area was deserted, sorry. Now something truly grotesque was happening. It was hell on earth. Ouch. Most of the hangar was caught in a fire. Workers were darting around, some crawled, enveloped in flames, begging for help. One of the workers next to me was carrying a wounded young man just a bit older than me. He had blooded stumps instead of hands, like they had been severed with something razor sharp. He was practically unconscious, and his arm is literally ripped off as well. Both of his arms. It's going to be okay, buddy. Just hang on. But his eyes told me he didn't believe his friend was going to make it, just like most of the others. My vision suddenly went dark and I started hearing voices. It was her! Who, that girl? Yes, I saw her tamper with the wirings. It wasn't my fault, I swear, I didn't do anything. You blanking blank! You filth! No, it wasn't me, honest! Just die, scum! Wait, please don't... The voice abruptly stopped. Silence. Like back at the hospital. I feel so good. Don't care about anything right now. I love this feeling, like a triple dose of that. Damn, I think my legs are giving up. Can't see anything at all. Can't stand on my feet anymore. I collapsed on the floor and completely lost touch with reality. And back at the hospital. Let's see what happened now that we didn't read a letter if we interact with Marcy. Cyberpunk, safeguard you. Thank you so much. Sweet of you. It's just a little embarrassing of me. Help you. This again. Marcy. Normally people don't say that sort of thing in that scenario. Dearie me. Like, Marcy's my personal favourite mode. Not because of, like, anything aesthetic wise, but you're gonna fall, yep. But just because of weaknesses in general, and the fact that she, to me, seems like, from the instance of meeting her here in the first time, she seems the most, like, open-ended person. Like, she's one who's most likely to shout at her feelings. But I like all the characters in this game. I'll say that in every game. But still, if there was a character I didn't like, I would point that out. I suppose I don't really have a huge fondness with Nebereal because of her overconfident, over-snarky attitude. But we need people like that. Did you read the letter? Damn it, no, how could I forget? I literally had it in my mind. I'm such an idiot. I had to make something like, well, I fear something dreadful might happen. I gotta lie to her. I don't seem to have much of a choice here. I already know this girl is very sensitive. Any little thing could put her down in the dumps. And this matter is definitely not lit on the eyes. Of course I did. Back in the hospital? Why? After hearing my response, Marcy backed away from me and her expression changed. You don't have to lie. Yeah, I think the situation is getting out of control. What makes you think I'm lying? Everything's clearly written on your face. Don't think I'm stupid. I never thought that. It's just, you see, I see how it is already. Marcy burst into tears and ran towards the exit. Marcy, hold up! I can explain. Sheesh, I really stuffed up. Maybe I should have been honest with her and told her I didn't read her letter. That would have probably been the lesser evil. Well, I'll have to sleep in the bed I made. There's a girl who was really concerned for me, and I completely trampled over her feelings like a piece of blank. I need to fix this immediately. I'll go after her and apologise. That's the right thing to do. When I left the auditorium, I breathed a sigh of relief because I spotted Marcy right off the bat. She was standing by the window, crying softly. I walked up to her and stood next to her. Why did you run away? Well... She continued sobbing. I gently put my arm around the girl. Please don't cry. I didn't mean to hurt you, and it's kind of immature to just take off crying like that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm the only one here who should apologise. Listen, I'm sorry for not appreciating your concern, but it was totally obnoxious of me. Marcy wiped her tears with a trembling hand. But you still went after me. Thank you. You shouldn't be grateful to me. That seems wrong. So what if it is? Who cares? Silence fell after that. We just stood there, embraced without saying anything. The silence was broken by Mercury and Birch from the auditorium. You looking for stuff? Hey guys, Mercury gaped at the two of us, covering her mouth with both hands. Am I interrupting? Not at all, not at all. Marcy and I hurriedly broke from each other. It's not what you think. You were saying something? Mercury smiled. I just wanted to tell you I'll be right back. Need to go find some gloves. You don't have them on you? For as long as I can remember, you've always had them on your person at all times. Honestly, I just forgot them in my room, so I go back for them. I was going to, but the dorm was too far, so I came up with a brilliant idea. And that is to find some fencing gloves. I'll just borrow some fencing gloves from the sports equipment storage. But aren't those hard to work in? Yeah, that sounds tough. Are you sure you can work in those? I'm sure I can work in any gloves, even hockey gloves. Been tinkering a lot since you were kids. You're so talented, Mercury. Should we get back to our work then? Yeah, sure, right. Let's get back. Me and Marcy went back to the auditorium. So in a way that still resolved well, but I would have always selected the choice of reading the letter. I mean, if someone made something for me, I would immediately check it out. Putting up decorations again, and I made sure she doesn't come tumbling down. Good times, in other words. But there's something gnawing at me. It's been about 50 minutes since we came back, and there's still no sign of Mercury. Did she get lost? So that, folks, is it for the prologue of Traurig Secrets. I extended this out to 2 other episodes, even though I didn't do an outro for the second episode because I didn't expect this to last that long, but it did. But I'm very glad that it did. So I'm really excited to see what is next for this game, although I do have one, not complaint, but one criticism to make, and that is with the animation cycles when we go through different characters' conversations. So it goes from, let's say, Marcy, and then it goes to Nebereal, for example, but when it comes to that scenario, I find that the conversation is then broken because of the animation cycle being a little bit too slow. Like it goes with different characters. You could have it so that we're introduced to the characters, but then we actually know the characters by then. So it doesn't need to continue with the animation cycle, and the conversation can then continue going on. I know I sound like a broken record player at times, and also I sound as if I don't know what I'm talking about. But really, I've been playing these sort of games for a few years now, and I kind of get a gist of like what things go down. It's nice to try different things out in games, most certainly. It gives the game a bit of flavour to it when you try and go for different things rather than trying to stick to a set formula, like the dialogue instantly picking up from one text to another text when it comes to going between different characters. But I still think that is something that could be implemented because it helps with the flow of the conversations better. So there's that, folks. That is the prologue of Traurig Secrets. I'm looking forward to where this game is heading. Next up, we'll be continuing with Marcy's route, where we don't go after Sunny in the hospital, and we read the letter in the hospital, and we select Marcy when we're in the auditorium. So that's going to be our next route. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see each other's post-content of the prologue of Traurig Secrets. Have an absolutely wonderful day, and take care of yourselves.